Today, we are diving deep into an ancient system for building something we all want but struggle to find: unbreakable discipline. We're going to look to the wisdom of the samurai to forge a path to real strength and focus in our modern lives. But let's start with a question that I'm sure hits close to home for a lot of us. Why is it so hard to do the things you know you should be doing? I mean, how many times have you said, okay, tomorrow's the day. You know you need to get up earlier. You know you need to hit the gym. You know you need to focus on that big project. You have all the knowledge, but you just don't do it. What's going on there? Well, a huge part of the answer lies in our environment. Let's be honest, modern society has basically set a trap for us. It's designed to make us seek the easiest path possible. Want food? There's an app for that. Bored? Netflix is one click away. Everything is immediate, comfortable, and easy. And while we're floating along in this bubble of comfort, something kind of scary is happening. We're getting weak, mentally, emotionally, spiritually weak. The samurai path? It was the polar opposite. It was a path intentionally forged in purposeful hardship, all to build an inner strength that couldn't be broken. So to find the solution, we're actually going to travel back in time, over 400 years, to a man who was the ultimate master of discipline, a guy who built a rock-solid system for victory not just on the battlefield, but in the battle inside his own mind. His name was Miyamoto Musashi, and he wasn't just some swordsman. He was arguably the greatest to ever live. I want you to look at that number, 61. He fought 61 life-or-death duels and never lost a single one, not one. But here's the absolute key. He didn't win because he was born stronger or faster. He won because he created a system of discipline so powerful that defeat wasn't even an option. Musashi's entire philosophy can really be boiled down to this quote. Now, what does that actually mean? It means your ego, your feelings, your fears, your craving for comfort, all of that is just noise. It's static. And as long as you're listening to that internal noise, you can't see reality for what it is, and you definitely can't act effectively. The first step to conquering any external challenge is to first conquer yourself. Okay, I know this might all sound like ancient history, something cool to think about but not really practical. So let's see how these exact same principles can totally transform a modern life. We're going to do that through the story of a young guy named Jack. So meet Jack. At 25 years old, he was pretty much stuck. He was a waiter, overweight, and just living on autopilot, trapped in a cycle he couldn't seem to break. You know the one. Wake up late, drag yourself to a job you dislike, come home, zone out with video games till 2 a.m., and then do it all over again. He knew he needed to change, but deep down, he just didn't have the discipline to actually do it. And then one night, this man named Naoki walks into the restaurant. He's sharply dressed, clearly successful, but it was more than that. He just had this aura. This calm, confident presence of someone who was in complete control of himself. And after a short conversation, Naoki saw in Jack's eyes the same lost look he recognized from his own past. Naoki decided to share the single most important lesson he'd ever learned. He told Jack that the samurai understood a fundamental truth about life. Strength doesn't come from doing what's easy. It's forged by doing what is difficult. And discipline, well, discipline is simply the ability to do what is difficult, especially when every single part of your being is screaming at you to take the easy way out. All right, let's dive into the practical system, the actual nuts and bolts that Naoki shared with Jack. These are the 8 core disciplines that can take anyone from a state of weakness and turn them into a modern warrior. Let's break down the first 4. Number 1, get up without negotiation. What does that mean? It means when your alarm rings, your feet hit the floor, period. No snooze button, no debating with yourself. You have to win that very first battle of the morning because it sets the tone for the entire day. You prove to yourself right from the start that your commitment is stronger than your desire for comfort. 2, move without emotion. Look, motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fickle. They're unreliable. You don't act because you feel like it, you act because you committed to it. Acknowledge that feeling of laziness, say hello, and then get moving anyway. Action first, the feeling might follow, it might not, doesn't matter. 3, train when you don't want to. It's easy to work out when you're feeling great. The real test, and where the real growth happens, is on the days you're tired, sore, or just not feeling it. Pushing through that resistance is what forges real toughness. And number 4, eliminate the unnecessary. Your stuff, your digital clutter, those pointless obligations, they all weigh you down. They cloud your mind. The samurai path is about simplicity and focus. So unsubscribe from all that junk email, declutter your desk, learn to say no to things that don't serve your ultimate purpose. Now for the next 4. Number 5, sit with the pain. When you feel discomfort, whether it's the burn in your muscles during a workout or a difficult emotion you're trying to avoid, don't immediately run for a distraction. Just sit with it, observe it, understand it. By facing pain, you learn you can endure it, and that robs it of all its power over you. Number 6, protect your focus like a fortress. Your attention is under constant attack. Notifications, emails, social media. The world is designed to distract you. You have to be ruthless. Turn off your phone, close those 50 tabs, dedicate real, uninterrupted blocks of time to deep work. Your attention is the currency you use to build your life. Spend it wisely. 7, live without needing approval. This is your journey. It's yours alone. If you're constantly looking for validation from other people, you become a slave to their opinions. The only approval you truly need is your own, earned by sticking to your code. And finally, number 8, stay the course, no matter what. I promise you, there will be days you want to quit. There will be setbacks. This is the moment that defines everything. Perseverance when things get tough, that is the ultimate expression of discipline. So all these principles sound great, right? But how did they actually translate into real-world results for Jack? Because this wasn't just some theory for him. This became the blueprint for a complete and total transformation of his life. See, Naoki didn't just give Jack some nice advice. He gave him a challenge, a concrete mission. He offered Jack a job at his company, but there was a condition. Jack had to prove he was serious about changing. He had to lose 8 kilos, about 18 pounds, in 2 months. This wasn't just about his body. It was about proving he could apply these disciplines to a real, difficult goal. And Jack took on the challenge. He started waking up at 5 a.m. He forced himself to go running, even when he was exhausted and his lungs burned. He traded video games for studying programming online. In just 2 months, he didn't just lose 8 kilos, he lost 10. He got the job, starting at the absolute bottom, but he kept applying that same relentless discipline to his career. And a decade later, after years of consistent effort, he became a partner in Naoki's company. And this brings us to what might be the most crucial point of this whole story. Jack didn't succeed just because he set a goal. He succeeded because he built a system. As James Clear says, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Jack created a system of daily discipline, and it was that system that transformed him from the inside out. Here's the thing. Jack wasn't special. He didn't have any secret advantages. He just had a willingness to do what was difficult, day in and day out. And now, the question really isn't about Jack anymore. It's about how this system applies to you. So let's run through the system one more time. Get up without negotiation. Move without emotion. Train when you don't want to. Eliminate the unnecessary. Sit with the pain. Protect your focus. Live without needing approval. And above all else, stay the course. This is the path. This is a system for building real strength. And here's one final really vital insight from the samurai way. This system, it wasn't created to make you happy. Our modern world is obsessed with chasing happiness, which is just a fleeting emotion. This system was created to make you strong. And strength isn't a feeling. It's a permanent state of being. You might not be happy every day, but you can be strong every day. And when you're truly strong, you can handle absolutely anything life decides to throw at you. So this system isn't just some nice theory. It's a practical, real-world path that only works if you actually practice it. You've seen how it works. You understand the principles. The path is laid out right in front of you, crystal clear. The only question left is, will you walk it?